So, hi everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. I think the panelists and me, we've been waiting for so long to have you here. So, thank you for joining us. So, first of all, thank you for all the people that help us to fill it up the survey. It was simple questions. Those questions are going to help us to go a little more deeper in some of the interests that all of you viewers are going to have. Let me share. I have an Slido. We are going to be asking you a couple of questions as we go. So make sure that you use it. Oh, where is that? I lost my. Well, I will put it on LinkedIn. I cannot see it here, but well, let's start. So my name is Juliet. I'm a UX designer at RCC. I'm a mentor at ADP List, and I'm going to be your host. But I need some panelists. So let's bring them into here so everybody can introduce themselves. Yes. So Ryan, why don't you start telling people who you are, how you became a designer, a little bit about you.
Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm Ryan. I'm a product designer based in Vancouver, but I work for a US company remotely. I joined ATP List for almost a year by now. And it's just I got a lot of help from ATP List during my last job search. So now I just kind of trying to help other people with their job search as well.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm still, I haven't practiced having so many people at the same time.
I go next?
Oh, yes, go next. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I saw my video has been opened up. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Linying. I am currently a senior product designer at Intuit, which is a global financial platform where we provide services such as TurboTax, QuickBooks, or Mint, or Credit Karma. And so it's mostly about financial related information. And previously, my focus has been really about technology, artificial intelligence. And so happy to be here, and I look forward to chatting with you.
Thank you. Zarema, it's your turn. Let's bring you in, and I'm going to hide you back. Yes. Oh,
yeah. Hi everyone, I apologize up front. Today I am a black square because I have some technical issues, but I'm here to answer all your questions. I am a product designer at Entergy, and before design I actually did finance, I did market research and analysis, and then I discovered UX design, that it's not only solving business problems but also user problems. And I've been mentoring on ADP List around 5 months. And yeah, so let's start our conversation about mentorship.
Perfect. Okay, let's see who I'm missing. I'm missing Ryan. Perfect. Okay, so thank you everybody for sharing about who you are. Let's just start talking what we came for. That it is going from mentee to mentor, and I feel like it's such a hard decision and it's safe to take. But why don't we start first? Why we chose ADP List, and I think for us is that how we all met, and that's what we want to share about our journey. So I don't know who wants to start sharing first.
I can start.
Thank you. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't remember when, how, and why I found ADP List. I think I've met so many people in our design community on LinkedIn, on different by attending different webinars and so on, and probably somebody told me about ADP List. And I think I've been there more than a year as a mentee at first. And right now I have around 3 years of experience in UX design, and I was wondering if I can be a mentor, but I wasn't sure at all that if I have enough knowledge, if I have enough experience to share with people. And then I searched on ADP list who is actually mentoring, like the level of experience, and I saw that there were interns, they were associate UX designers, and I was like, yeah, like why not try it out? And if I have something to share, at least my path, how to break in and tech and so on. And then I just registered, and this is how I become a mentor.
Thank you. Great. What about Ryan? Who I want to pick? Go, Ryan.
Yeah, well, for me, I don't remember how I heard about ATP at the beginning, but it was during pandemic. And I remember it was still just everything was built on Webflow. And yeah, I really needed some help to find find a new job. I had a lot of trouble with like pretty much everything, portfolio, interview. Somehow I found ATP list, and it's I got a lot of help from it. Met some mentors there, and yeah, overall it's pretty good experience for me, both from mentee and mentor perspective.
Thank you. I need to get better at this on how to move people around. I always just do 2 people, so it's easier, but 4 is a little bit harder. Anyway, Linying, why don't you tell us about your experience with ADP List?
For sure. I actually do remember I got a message from Felix, which is the co-founder of Adipolis in the beginning. I think it was more than 2 years ago. And but back then I started as a mentee. I was actively looking for a job. I was very thirsty for any kind of feedback or advice from people who are senior and having more experience than me. And so I ended up meeting my current boss's boss's boss on Adipolis, who gave me a lot of great introduction and insights into how is the culture and working in the industry, and from his perspective, what is important or what is not. And so to truly be a manufacturer myself of mentorship, so after I got this new job, and after I feel like I have extra time in my weekends or nights, and I decided to enroll up for this mentorship session. And as a altruistic person, I really can feel very rewarding and helpful by just giving other people help, especially people who are new to design, who are looking for some advice in their portfolio, or who just wants to understand a little bit about the interview process from the other side of the table. So it has been such a fun journey for me so far.
Thank you. Let me be back here. Thank you so much for sharing about that. I think for me, when I change careers, I feel like you are so lost that it's like, oh, I need some help. How do I get that help? And I think for me, that was the initial thought, is like, oh, I want to know people and I want to see what are they doing day to day. More about, again, I was so curious about what do I need to do to be part of the community. And I think for me, again, mentorship and free mentorship and the access to so many people in the industry was a big help. But what is something that you really like about being a mentor? And when did you have that thought about, okay, I've been in the industry for a while. I mean, for me, it was a scary point too, is like, I haven't been long enough. Should I be a mentor? So when did that point turn? Like, when did you decide, okay, I could be a mentor? Who wants to go first?
I can go. So For me, I think that's after I got my new job, and I've been working there for a while, and I feel like I always like talk with people trying to find a job. So like I know their struggle, and I feel like my experience, on like going through the networking as an introvert, trying to improve my portfolio, trying to improve my interview skill. Like I learned a lot from that process, and I just feel like it's time for me to share to other people. Luckily, my job is pretty supportive in it, so I can have some time to allow me to mentor other people outside of work. Yeah, it's kind of just an natural thing for me to uh, start from Mentee and share what I learned during that process to other people.
I love the part that you said that you were a little bit shy and then you didn't know what is that part. And I feel like that's the power of people going from mentee to mentor, is like, oh, there's so many people already that maybe are shy or don't know how to do that transition, or maybe went into the same. So I feel like for me that was one of the most relevant things too. So what about Zarema? You wanna share how was that transition for you?
Yes, I actually feel absolutely the same like Ryan. So I think that when I got my first job, when I started working, I was very thankful to all the mentors who helped me from ADP list, and I wanted to contribute to the community, but I wasn't sure when should I start being a mentor, and I think it took some time for me. And I believe that by sharing the knowledge, we promote diversity and inclusion into our design community, and more new, really cool designers from different backgrounds will come into our industry and diversify our industry, which is really cool.
Oh, I love that part. And I think each of us represents such a unique story. And I think that's what it keeps bringing value to the community and to the design industry. What about you, Lian? Linking, sorry, Linking. Mhm.
Yeah, I probably want to give the credit back to my previous employer who decided to ask me to mentor junior designers and also, asked me to sign up for being an interviewer. And so starting from there, it's actually my pivot point as understanding more instead of the hiring and especially like there's a bunch of other people that are out there looking for help. And so that's when I started to help others. Besides that, I think I've also have some like other study groups, and that's when I realized I probably can share something that they wanted to know. And when I started to share more and more, and I really love that atmosphere of like sharing out and giving each other back, what we know and exchange the knowledge. And so, yeah, that's probably the secondary reason.
Yeah, that's so nice that you have the access that even before you thought about it, that you thought is like, okay, I think she will be really good at this. Why don't we give her the opportunity? And that's when it sparks go inside of you. It's like, oh, I really like this, and I think I can help so many people. For me, I think I've been in some like Facebook groups or a Slack channel, whatever it is. And then a lot of people start asking like, oh, what do I do? And it's like, oh, okay, we can talk and we can, I mean, I don't know much about it, but I can tell you what I did. So I think for me, it's like, oh, okay. So I've been helping people already. So how can I do these more like in a formal way? And I think for me, ADP List was that tool to get more access to people and have more like a calendar and a little more structure instead of me trying to, what time does work for you? What time works for me? And I think that is so much back and forward. Yes, but yeah, thank you so much for sharing. So I know that all of us have different steps, and we discover about being a mentor in different ways. But what steps did you take, at least in ADP list, or how do you prepare yourself to be a mentor, or do you have anything that you hide in your like in your pocket, and your tricks to be a mentor? Oh, Linying, you sound like you want to go. Yes, go.
Yeah, I can probably take this one. What is funny is I actually have a mentor who teaches me how to mentor. It's kind of wordy, but the one thing that I really learned from him is to set goals and also adding the milestones. And so, for example, today, if I say I just want to improve my mentorship skill, that's like so broad, so general. But I want to scope it down to I want to really be good at choose words well. And then by adding milestones, it could be I can read some books about how to improve communication, how to choose words well. And then I can, listen to some TED videos and then, capture some of the really great learnings out of it. And then I can start to do some like pilot testing with my first or second mentorship sessions on ADP list, like a product, and you have a roll-up plan. And so by having that milestones really helped me so much, and having a quantitative analysis as in how much I have progressed so far.
Yeah, okay, I still need to, how do I make you small here? No, I show, okay, here, I'm back. Okay, so I love that. I feel like definitely for me, it was not such a structure way to do things. I think is I was more talking to people is like, ooh, I think I should ask some questions before we meet. Ooh, I think I should write down some notes after, whatever it is. So I think for me, it's me more learning on the way. And I feel like maybe the mentorships that I have in ADP list didn't have a structure, and maybe that's what I went with. It's like, okay, they've been doing it like this. Maybe I could do it the same. I don't know, Ryan. Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I think I wish I had a mentor teach me how to do it, but well, I didn't. But the nice thing about internet is you can always find information on the internet. So I learned a lot about how to communicate with people, how to ask questions, how to be more empathy towards other people through a YouTube channel, but also Twitch channel called House Gamer GG. The person who runs the channel is a psychiatrist, but he's also gamer. So, but a lot of things he talked about are around like mental health for people using internet all the time. Just and watching his interviews for other people, just taught me a lot about how to ask right questions and how to be a better listener. And I think that itself already helped me a lot when I talk to other people. Just really understand what their needs, and also understand, also just try my best to support them.
Yeah, I love it. Yes, I know. We will have all love to have someone to tell us how to, or teach us how to be a mentor. What about you, Zarema? Do you have any good tools or resources?
I don't have like tips or something, but as for me, I just watched what other mentors on ADP list did, and most of them they ask the mentee upfront, like they have set of questions like, "What would you like to talk about? What skills would you like to upgrade?" or something like, "Feel free to share your resume or portfolio." So I did the same in my profile, and to every mentee I was preparing, depending on the task, what he was asking, so that I can share with him the resources.
Yeah,
But
that's. Oh, yeah,
I
go ahead.
really liked about to put milestones. This is great advice. I even wrote it down.
Yes, yeah, and I mean, and I think this is one of the best things about connecting with the community and seeing maybe what other mentors are doing and how they are succeeding and how they are bringing tools that will make us our life easier at the end of the day. But and I think maybe some people is asking is like, okay, what do I need to do if I want to be a mentor on ADP list? And I know we all have different approaches to this. So maybe Ryan, why don't we start telling people what did you do?
Um, I don't feel like I did anything special. I feel like I just can apply for it and wait for the application to go through, and eventually it did. Um, yeah, I think on my side thing, what's kind of important for me to understand is, well, mentor can be really helpful to other people, and we should be sort of put the effort into it, and but at the same time, uh, how well the mentorship goes also heavily depends on mentee, how much effort they put into it, how well they took the feedback in. Um so yeah, it's for me, it's just to understand that we can try our best to be supportive, but for this to work, mentee has to put in the work. And if it doesn't work, sometimes it's not us doing a bad job, it's just like they didn't put in the work. Yeah, so it's kind of like the interview, you have other factor that change the uh, affect the results, that your skill may not be just may only be like small factor of it. I'm not sure if I'm making sense here.
Yeah, but I feel like something here is like it's hard to start talking with someone, and I think in between the four of us, if we start mentoring someone, they're going to have all a different experience as we are so unique. So I think could be too that mentee needs to find the right fit. And I feel sometimes maybe that could be hard because it's like, okay, I read who you are and what you can help me with, but maybe we don't have the same dynamic or the same communication. So it's going to take a while for the mentees to find the right fit or not. That could be too.
Yeah.
So I think for us, it's important to know, oh, I don't know, they're looking someone in healthcare, and I don't know anything about healthcare, so I don't know how I can help you. So it's for us to have those resources. It's like, hey, why don't you talk to X person? I think they're going to help you more than me. I know, Linying, you have an interesting story about being part of ADP list. So why don't you tell us about yours?
Yeah, I do feel like this is a terrible metaphor, but mentorship is also like relationship, right? It's like dating with each other. You do have to see each other and have the same vibe that you can get along with each other. And even not just one time, but really like a regular meetings to be able to check the mentee's progress and improvement. I think that will be a huge accomplishment for both. And I also wanted to share one of the stories, as you said, Julie, is I remember I stumbled upon a YouTube video. It says, never ask your mentor, would you be my mentor? Because that breaks the relationship all of a sudden. And so that's very interesting. So that puts me in thinking that, the mentorship itself should be really subtle. It's not intentional. Most of the time, mentee probably, when they need some professional advice and they can reach out for a mentor for help, but the help is actually mutual. I do believe that every mentor out there could also learn anything from their mentees. And so I do think even in one conversation and discussion. It could be maybe in the first 5 minutes, you are my mentor, and then later on, after 5 minutes, I am your mentor. And so I really want to actually, just deprioritize the meaning of mentor itself, but really put it as a way, say, I just want to have a great conversation. And so, and then we can both like benefit out of it. So it's like a win-win instead of a zero sum.
I love that. And I think what happens so many times is we see this mentor as, oh, we will never be able to be like that, or such a like a God, yes, because that's what they're mentors for. I feel like I don't feel like that definitely about me, but like it's just so hard to connect. Yeah, like there is all this space in between, but I think it's just at the end of the day, we're humans and we are learning, and I think just bringing down to the same level and understanding that the other person, I mean, if you talk to me at the beginning, me and a mentor, I was so scared and petrified, like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to have the right thing to say, or what about if I don't know if I'm doing it wrong and they leave design, and I don't know. I think it's just you feel like it's such a responsibility. But at the end of the day, when you start talking to people and you start talking like friends and humans, and it's like, okay, so they just want to hear how I felt and what I went through, and maybe a little bit of validation of that we all went through that the same. Zarema, what about you?
Yeah, I think the good advice would be about how to become from mentee a mentor. Like, start simple. Just do general mentorship first, just some coffee chats, just about general topics. And you can even write it in your profile, like if you would like to chat about it, or how I broke into tech, how I got the job. Then just start the simple coffee chats. And I guess once you get more experience, once you get more comfortable, you can add all other topics and like interview tips and so on. But yeah, start simple. This is how I did.
Yeah, and I feel like kind of getting back into how to get an ADP list. I mean, the first thing that you need to do is apply. I mean, if you don't apply, you don't get in, and then you don't know. Yeah, so I feel like just give it a try. But I think those is a great one, Sarima. Is like if you feel like it's too much, and like you need to be responsible mentor. Yes, just to start putting yourself out again. There's so many communities where you can just start talking about your experience, and then people will come to you and say, oh my goodness, did it happen the same to you? I can't believe that, yes, that someone went through the same as me. So I think that's a good way to start connecting with people and sharing who you are. Yes. Okay. So one of the things is, why do usually people come to you? Because again, each of our stories are so unique, and usually people come to you because something is specific. I feel like the beginning is hard to have that branding around you as a mentor, but at least for me, something that I switched careers. I came after 10 years into retail. And then I'm an immigrant. So I have those kind of two things that people notice on me, and I'm Latina. So I will say that if you speak Spanish, you're an immigrant and you're switching careers, usually people come to me, and maybe on my profile you can get a little bit of flavor. But what about you? What is kind of your branding as a mentor? Maybe we'll start. Oh yes, I hear someone. Sarima, you want to go first?
Yeah, so why do people come to me?
Yes.
I don't know. I wrote in my profile, connect for a friendly chat about UX design tips. So maybe people just come to chat. We usually have like general chats, how to break into tech, and there is nothing serious in there, and it's all friendly. And I usually also share the resources with my mentees. So I don't know why they. I am also not in the senior level, just the product designer. So maybe they see that, okay, this person also just got into UX, so maybe she can help me how it is and so on. So I think that's the reason they just find a similar soul and they come.
That's nice. And I feel like a lot of people, again, if we are changing careers in this like remote world, it's hard, honestly, because then you don't have the connection of like being in the world and finding a job and being, I don't know, if you're in a school working together towards something. So I think it's just people want to talk. What about like Linying?
Yeah, for sure. For starters, I guess even without ADP list, was I have been reached out sometimes on LinkedIn, and it's mostly because people are interested in the company where I'm currently working, and so that's like one of the channel. And second of all is I wanted to hone my system thinking skills. So after chatting with a bunch of mentees on AWS, I was able to find the patterns of people who are new to design and the common problems or the questions they want to be answered. And so I sort of like synthesized all those notes and I published that, on some websites. And that's some other people have found me and they will reach out even more. And so that's where I get the ball rolling.
Oh, well, that's a good way to put it. So you are kind of promoting yourself a little bit and people come in to you. That's great.
Yeah.
Ryan, what about you?
I think usually most people come to me for portfolio feedback or interview feedback. I think that would be like the most common ones. And there were people come to me because I put in my description that I'm an introvert, and they just want to hear how I sort of live in a designer world as an introvert. And another big group is Chinese designer or designer speak Mandarin. I did a couple Mandarin sessions throughout the year, throughout the year, I guess. And there are just a lot Mandarin speaking designer reach out to me, just have a chat about working in a different company, not different country, speak a different language, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I love that because I think we come back to that point of Zarema was mentioned at the beginning. It's like diversity and bringing attention to different communities in how design can get involved. So I love that. Okay, my goodness, I need to get better at these organizing, but. Okay, so I know that I told you at the beginning that some of the people share with us what are the things that they would like us to talk about. And I was surprised because I've been monitoring this survey. And at the beginning, right at the beginning, imposter syndrome was winning. But we have the final results. And I think people would like to hear a little more about networking and connecting with others. That's the first one. The second one is developing skills. And third place, we have imposter syndrome. So maybe we can start talking a bit about how can we start networking and connecting with people. And this is like, I think for me, one of the biggest resources when I change careers and coming into design. So I don't know who wants to take the floor first and talk about how to connect and start networking with others.
I can probably go first. So I really think that there's nothing to lose. And so that's my philosophy when reaching out to people. I know sometimes people reach out first in terms of they have similar experience where they are alumni, where they somehow know another mutual contact, but that's not the only way you can reach out to anybody for help. one of the greatest characteristics of any designer is we are empathetic and we can truly feel the other person's pain points, and we are really empathizing in this way that we are caring for them. We really want to be there and be helpful, and so that's vice versa, right? So that's how other seasoned, experienced designers are thinking. And so when you, as a junior or someone who's new to design, when you reach out to any person who is altruistic or who is really willing to help juniors or other people, I think that will be a terrific mutual connection. So that's number one, networking and connecting. And also, like, there are so many resources out there, like Google anyway, like, or just LinkedIn, search the companies that you want to apply for, or ADP list, right? Search the company that you want to go to, and then just ask alum, what their experiences are, and then just keep working on that. I think you're muted, Julie.
Thank you. A lot of what is going to be is, for me, is practice. Yes, like, it's not that you become good at talking and networking with people just by doing it once. And I feel there are so many tools that you can utilize if you don't want to. And I think people is scared to start talking with designers and companies that they really care about, because they want to show their best face and everything that they can do. But then what about if you start talking with people that you can get practice and start working on your storytelling? So for me, I think a big part is start practicing and start getting better at it. There is nothing better than free practice, and there are so many tools for that. So okay, let me bring them back. Any tips about networking and connecting with people, Ryan or Sabrina?
Yes, I can say. I totally agree with Linying, that you lose absolutely nothing. So you need to do that step first and connect to people, because I find it in 99% that people will answer you. And I actually have a story. When I did my boot camp in Austin, I had to do a usability interview, and that was prior COVID, so I had to do it in person. And I was working on the events management tool, and I needed to talk to an event manager. And I knew that there was an IBM panel meeting, because there were a lot of meetups going on and so on. And you know what? I just went there. I was on that event, and after event, I just came up to the IBM events manager who was there, and I just asked her, like, "Hey, I'm a student. Can I take an interview? Like, if you would have time?" And she said yes. So, like, you lose nothing. Like, what she could have, okay, she could have said no, but like, I lose nothing, right? And I also have a connection now. So just don't be afraid. Even if they say no, one person can say no, the other person will always say yes. So just do it. Just connect to people, connect to mentors, connect on LinkedIn, connect when you go to the webinar, and so on. Just connect.
Yeah, and again, when you are not asking, you are saying 100% no. So at least when you ask, you have a 50-50 of chance of saying yes. And like you were saying, Zarema, 90%, 95% of the time, people is going to say yes.
In my experience, 99%.
Oh, 99%.
Yes,
Okay.
almost everyone answers me yes when I'm reaching out.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, go for it. What about you, Ryan?
For me, since we are on the topic of from mentee to mentor, I would just talk about the sort of, I guess, benefits come from being a mentor. First, you just get to talk with a lot more people, and it's really a good practice for me to as doing more speaking and doing more listening as well. So that's just really helpful in terms of I guess for networking, because like talk to people for introvert is always a hardest thing to do, at least to start. Yeah, being a mentor just gave me a lot more practice on that. And also, if we ever get a chance to do a group session like this with other mentor, that's always a nice networking opportunity as well. We just got to meet other people in the field. We also shared our knowledge or yeah to other designers. It's just a nice way to make the connection with all different people.
Yeah, thank you. And maybe, I don't know if you will have one or two tips for people who is shy. Like, what do you do when you want to network? Like, how do you, because I imagine when you go on and start talking to someone, and even maybe sees online, it's a little bit easier. But how you can keep moving forward, networking and being shy at the same time.
Yeah, so I think online meeting definitely made it easier for me. Just I don't know, it's just somehow it made it easier for me. I guess I don't have to look at people. Like I if I want, I can just look at wherever I want. So that just can ease my anxiety for I have to look at other people's eye while talking. That can be hard. Another thing I would be just do a little bit more preparation before before the meeting. Just prepare a few questions you want to ask. Think about what you want to say. Worst case scenario, if you just feel super nervous, you have like a list of things you can talk about, and then you just go through the list. It won't feel like a casual conversation or anything. At least you say you ask what you want to ask, even though it might feel a bit awkward. At least that's a first step to just to speak more and to practice, and the more you do, the easier it gets. Then you probably don't need the script anymore.
Yeah, that's such a good one. And I think having everything written down and knowing what you want to ask, that will alleviate a little bit of that shyness. And I think this is a good next questions, like how to develop a skills. Like, and I know this is such a broad question because it could be like any skills, but if you could give a tip, or if you're talking with a mentee and they're asking you how to develop X skill, like how would you recommend, or what do you ask them that they can do? Maybe Linying, yes.
If a mentee asks me how to develop skills, and by skills, do you mean mostly hard skills, like how to use Figma like that? Or
Well,
soft
I mean,
skills?
I know this is a broad question, so I feel like it could be like any skill, and I think that's a great one, because it could be like a hard skill and it could be a soft skill. So
Yeah.
maybe one tip for each, if you want, like a hard skill and a
Sounds
soft
good.
skill.
Sure. If it's about hard skill, and I will definitely just reply back as in, don't waste your time in chatting with me anymore. Just go practicing it. Practice makes perfect, and every single minute of your time, you really need to put your heart and all of energy into just doing instead of thinking, because that wouldn't get you anywhere just by thinking. If it's about soft skill, I will definitely recommend, similar to my first answer, as in, how to manage your goals and add milestones upon it. I think that's a really great way for you to see how you have been progressing instead of just thinking that, conceptually.
And
All right,
I
I'll
feel
pass
like,
that.
Oh yeah, go for it. Pass it to someone. Go for it.
Yeah, I was thinking I can just pass the baton to Ryan because seems like he was nodding.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point on both the tips. Like I always tell people, just go practice your UI. You have to do it to learn it. Otherwise, no matter how many video courses you took, you watched, it's not gonna improve unless you actually do the thing. But also ask for feedback. That's also a really important step in learning any skill. So you know you are on right track, and people with more experience than you can point you to a better direction. And also add on to the soft skill one, setting goals, setting milestone is really important. But also just start small. Um, yeah, uh, I can't really think of an example right now, but it's always nice to start small and just slowly build up the I guess courage to try do bigger things. Well, I guess the example I used before on like talking with people, I start with a script, even though it might make the conversation slightly awkward, but you are doing the speaking at least, and then once you do more stuff, then you get more comfortable with it. You can do less script reading, but more casual conversation.
I love the first example that you did with the hard skill. Is like, okay, go practice and get feedback. Because I feel like you're combining two things there. And sometimes we forget that when we start working in one thing, at the same time, we are exercising other muscles around. So for me, it's like how to can be conscious about what you're doing and kind of really seeing yourself where you are when you started. And then 3 months later, it's like, oh, I didn't know that I was practicing facilitating or team building, whatever it was. And then 3 months later, it's like, what? I have learned so much. People understand better what I'm doing. I started a new process. Maybe it was for you, maybe to organize, but then at the end of the day, it became a process that you start sharing with people. So I think it's for you to be conscious about what you're doing and see how much you're growing. Zarema, what about you? How to develop a skill?
Develop a skill. Yeah, I totally agree that practice makes perfect. Number one. Second one, be open to feedback. And I think the third one, don't give up. You will see the results. They won't come up fast, but they will. And practice even with the soft skills. I am actually also introvert, and it's also not easy for me to reach out to people, but the more I do it, the easier it gets. So if I can do it, if any of us can do it, then anybody can do it. So just practice and just go for it. Set goals and do it.
Yes, thank you. And I think I'm going to, Zarema, throw it back to you because the next topic is one of your favorites. And I know it's something that you talk a lot about it, that is imposter syndrome. So how do we work about imposter syndrome? And I feel like this is, I don't know how all of you feel when you talk to mentees and they come to you. It's like, oh, I don't know what to do. No one wants to hire me. I'm not made for this. I'm going back to what I did before. And I think it's a lot of that imposter syndrome that we have as maybe switching career, new into tech. So Zarema, like how will you approach this?
I think when you have imposter syndrome, it means that maybe you are not sure in some of your skills. So one thing you can do, you can start practicing those skills. If you feel like, for example, you lack communication skills, you can get books, you can start practicing on that. Another thing, I think that when people don't really believe in themselves and they think that maybe another UX designer, for example, is better than me, and so I might lose the interview. But the thing is that no one is you, and this is your power. You do your best. You don't know your competition. You do your best and just be confident in yourself. Just show this passion, and people will see your personality through, because usually we are hiring people to work with, and all the other skills are attainable.
Oh, love that, because at the end of the day, we come back to who we are and our unique strengths. So why don't we lead with those strengths and keep working in those skills that we know that we need some work to do. Linying, what about imposter syndrome?
I will throw probably 3 points. One is really fake it till you make it. So it's really about trying the methodologies or just apply it in your daily work. If you want to become a person who is really great at presentation, and then you start to practice your presentation skills and you apply the knowledge that you have learned to it. And second is, I remember I told one of my mentees that when he was like a little bit shy and he was not sure if he can be eligible for a full-time designer, and I told him that the best time of planting a tree was 10 years ago, but the second best time is now. So being present can actually help you to focus on where you are doing and focus on your next step, just a step by another in front of the other one. That's where you get to your destination. And the third story or point was actually, I just got inspired by Samira, which is, I remember Harvard University, one of the psychology professor, they did an experiment, which is they have a $20 in a hand and they ask around who wants to have it. And of course, everyone wants to have it. And then he started to, torture or just wrap it and then like fold it and then ask around who still wants to have it. And then after rounds and rounds of destroying that $20 by like stepping on it or by soaking it in water, in the end, not a lot of people, probably just the one or two, still want that dollar. But here's the point: it doesn't matter how others are thinking of you. It is actually your genuine worth, like how you have been working in your towards your styles, or how you have been trying to improve your like design skills, or how you treat others. That's actually who you are. You don't actually need to care about how other or external forces are thinking of you. And I'll pass back to Julie.
Perfect, thank you. And I love the analogy of the tree. And again, it could be 10 years ago and it could be now. But sometimes you have planted a tree, and sometimes I feel like you don't know that you have been doing that. And then the tree keeps growing and keeps growing, and one day you surprisingly see it's like, oh, where did this tree came from? And I think is sometimes we don't know that we were working so hard and putting water, the sun. The tree doesn't grow out of nowhere. It comes from your hard work and from your day to day. But okay, let's see. Let's bring everybody in. Ryan, we are missing about imposter syndrome from you.
I think for me, sometimes it's because the lack of skill, like you just have to learn it. Sometimes it's because you have the skill, you just don't trust yourself. And then, what happened to me is a lot of time it's all in my head, and I think I don't. I don't got it. I think I need to learn more things. I think other people think I'm not doing the job, but now it's matter of just take a step back, really look into your fear or the discomfort you have. Like where is that coming from? Do you have any evidence to support your belief, or is it just all in your head? And then trying to ask people like what was their thoughts about the situation, and gather some feedback, gather some evidence, whether you can actually do the thing you want to do or not. And yeah, and then you can make a plan if it's thing you can improve, or just be more comfortable with where you are where you at, and yeah, I think that's probably
Yeah,
helped
no,
me.
and thank you. And I think this is a good way to kind of finishing up this. But I feel like something that a mentor will go for you, and just going back to your point, Ryan, is like, okay, is this true how I'm feeling? Is do I really don't know what is happening? And I think a mentor is going to help you to kind of guide you through that. So if people is thinking about, I know, going from mentee to mentor, if you will have to give just one tip, one thing that they can do today to take that step, what do people need to do to become a mentor? Who wants to go? Maybe let's. Oh yeah, go, Zarema.
It's simple. Go register on ADP list, or if not, go and put on LinkedIn that, hey, reach out if you would like to talk about UX. So it's really simple.
Easy. Just put yourself out. Okay. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, I feel like just think about your interaction with your friend or with your teammates or whoever. There gotta be times where you talk with those people and understand their situation, trying to give advice on them. That will be your like first mentorship. You probably already done it before, and then you just need to do the same thing with designer. So just I'm sure you are already doing
Yeah,
it.
that's exactly. I think that's such a good one. You have maybe been doing this already. People came and ask you, like, "Oh, I've been thinking about being a UX designer. How is your experience?" And then you just start talking. And I mean, that's a good way for you to see if you like it. So you have done it before. Just go for it. Linying, what is that first step to take?
I just want to say congratulations. Just by having that thought of being a mentor is really awesome because you are actually going to make the world different. You are about to change someone's life. And so, yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah, that's a great way to finish. But again, if you are thinking about looking for a mentor, here we are, the four of us. The information and how to find us, you can just go and look for us on ADP list or in LinkedIn. And I think, yeah, that's it. And if you're thinking, oh, I still don't know if I want to be a mentor, come to us and talk to us, and we will help you to decide that. But that's it for us today. Thank you so much for the three of you for sharing about how to become a mentor after being a mentee.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.